So, warm welcome to Microservices. We are in winter term 21-22. It's about the 10th or 11th lecture, and we are going to talk about connecting the shop front end with the shop backend today and get that functionally running. So, you can't see that. Here we are. So we have, this is our well-designed architecture overall. We are having a warehouse where we can actually store new goods on our pallets to our data store, our ware store, product store. And we have a front end and a back end. Here we can actually have an add pallet by now, and that's it, and store it. And then we send the product stored event to the shop service. We have connected those two services, and we have started to develop the front end here. And so now we are going to connect those two. And then we are pretty much in a good shape, or have pretty much all the functionality that we want to show to you. And I still have this little bit crowded picture. I'm going to improve this, I think, by next week, hopefully, when I switch to the bachelor thesis of Max to show this. And then it will be much more easy to see and to read. And then basically the scenario that we are going to implement, we have Peter Picker who opens the warehouse front end, selects store task, selects add a new pallet, enters the pallet data, sends a command to the warehouse backend, where some data is stored into our database, and a new event is raised, the product stored event that goes for the microshop that stores some other data here. And that's pretty much the functionality that we have implemented in the first half of this course. So we store red shoes. Here's more the jeans, more stuff that has been stored to the database. So, and what we are currently at is that in the, come on, here we are. Shop. Now a clerk, an administrative, it is being sells the system to add a price to the product in order to put it in the shop. And there's one screen missing here that we will see soon. And there we offer an overview. Well, we have two commands: go for the administrative stuff, go for the shop, for shopping after all. And that's probably not the best way to design this. Perhaps the customer portal and the administrative portal should be well separated more clearly. However, this is how we have started this, so let's do this. Basically we get an offers overview. That is this one here. There's no offer yet. Then we can select one offer or go for the edit offers thing, where we can tell red shoes are $42 and press OK. And then this information is going to be stored in the Microshop database, and that's it. And we do these for different products, and then we are fine. So let's do this today. And I did prepare this. Come on. Let's kill all these because it's clothe them all. I think changes. Didn't I do that? Now it's done. Okay. And we need a terminal window, and we need this a little bit smaller. Can you actually see anything of this? So it's still very, very small. And we go for microtests. I have actually finally created a test for today. It's one repo, it's CD. It says My tab is not working. That's no good. I had this problem yesterday. Let's kill this one and restart it. That's probably solving the problem. Just a minute. Yeah, here we are. And we go for micro tests. And we do an npm run. No, npm start is good enough to start our Setprice test environment. And actually, I have created a new Setprice test. Let's have a look at this one. Micro test, Setprice. They are all living in integration. And I go for the shop front end. Yeah, that's done. That should do the job. Where we will actually go through today, and that's basically the things that you shall do during the week as your assignment for this week. Okay, let's start this test, and it's the shop front end that we would like to start. And probably this one is going to fail directly because we did not yet start the shop front end. Hey, here we go. I love it. So it visits the shop front end and gets a Setprice error, so this did not work as intended. And if you go here, we see it does a visit on localhost 4400, and this does not work because we did not start 4400 yet. So let's do that. cd micro shop front end. I hate it. Perhaps this one is a good idea. And do an npm start, and we will have a look at this soon. And you see it's starting on 4400. We did that somewhere. No, we do this as a parameter. We call ng serve -- port 4400. We do so in the package.json somewhere. That needs some time, and then it shows up, and we see this is our microshop, and we have an offer task thing with some offers. We go for the edits thing, and it already says there's something wrong here because I did some changes to this. So let's stop here and go to our Setprice test. And let's rerun that one. And it should go a little bit further. So it visits the shop front end, it clicks on the offer task, it clicks on the edit button, and then finally it gives the product. And we have something new here, which is a toast, which I'm going to show to you today. That is the first thing we will actually look at today. Let's go back a little bit. Visit the shop front end results in the usual page. Click on an offer task. We get this thing here with slightly, well, not correct because there's some information missing here. I have changed that. I will show that to you too. And clicks on the edit button. Then we see the edit offers dialog, and so it's all red. So let's fix this. And it starts to go wrong somewhere here. The offer task thing does not contain what it should do. Contains offers overview. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah. There is some call here that is broken, and we'll actually have a look at this, what it's actually doing. So, the problem is in the offer task view. So the initial view actually works fine. If you go home, that's cool. If you go here, This one is actually, seems not to, a little bit, well, corrupted. So we'll have a look at that one. And actually, I have just extended it, and therefore you will see what the problem is very soon. And it's an easy thing. So let's close this, and we go for the Microshop. We go for the Microshop front end. We go for source. We go for app. And it's not the problem here in the app module, but it's in its components. And there it is in the offer task. And let's have a look at the offer task component TS to see what I have actually changed. I have added the toast service to my thing. I'm talking to you about this one very soon. Not yet, it's coming up. So stored pass string is used for debug output on my page. It's actually containing the string shown below our list here. And it starts with hello offer task. That one is actually working initially. Let's see this one. Let's see this one. Number of offers is 2. That's fine. And so what's not working is we have genes. We have some standard data in here. And actually I used name here, which is wrong. This should be product. Because in our database, it's named product. So it's easier if this one is product and this one is product. And we store that. And actually, that should trigger a rerun. No, it doesn't. Oh, that one is much better. So this one takes time. Here we are. And we go back for submit. No, doesn't do it. Yeah, I know why. And we go just back. So this one did work a little bit better. The clicks on offer tasks is actually fine. And the offers overview is now, go for this one. Yeah, go for this one. The offers overview now actually says we have jeans and t-shirts for $0. And we have actually 6 jeans and 6 pairs of jeans and 7 t-shirts. That's actually here. If I put the mouse here, it's vanishing. So that's better. But still here is a problem. Let's have a look at that one. So I have connected the front end, the shop front end, to the shop back end. And I actually created I do an HTTP GET, I do an URL request or a web request or an HTTP request to localhost 3100, which is actually the address that we were using for our shop backend. And I say I would like to know within queries the list of products. This is actually a new functionality that we did not have in our shop backend until now. So I constructed this yesterday, and so you have to do it today this week too. Okay, to make this working, we should actually start. Come on. The backend. Yeah, here we are. So we go for, and I'm sorry for having this so crowded, Microshop backend. Yeah, here we are. And then it's an npm start. So we have Setprice running here, the front end of the shop running here, and the back end of the shop running on the third terminal. And that one says connection refused. The problem here is that our shop backend tries to contact the shop service, or shop backend actually tries to contact the warehouse. Actually, it's all the time I do backend and front end. So let's put this here. And that's better. And we did not start the warehouse backend yet. For this test, we don't need it. So actually, the shop backend tries to connect to subscribe to the warehouse for messages to get this product stored messages, and that fails. And this is the error message that you can see. We ignore this for now and go on with our implementation, and we go for app controller in the Microshop backend. That's cool. Microshop backend, the app controller TS. This is the thing where our request is going to be directed to, and the app controller actually has been there already. There. Get query operation. So the app controller, we are in the shop backend now. And the app controller is actually the one where these URL requests, HTTP requests are showing up. And the responsibility of the app controller of the backend is to decode the URLs and to match them to method calls. And so this is actually a functionality provided by Nest. And we actually say that if it is a GET request with to my service with the URL extended by query:key, then please call the operation getQuery, and as a key parameter, this key is passed as via this pragma to this variable here, or to this parameter after all. And then there was some debug output I have omitted by now. And what I actually do, I call the app service get query operation and pass the key. This is all functionality. You already should have it. So let's go for this get query. So the controller does this URL decoding. The service, the app service, provides the actual functionality. That's a usual pattern that we implement in using Nest. And I decided to, have as part of the query in the query key the actual description for the query that I would like to execute. So my app service looks whether the key is customers, then it does model builder service, where the actual model builder service is the component or the module or the file, the piece within our architecture that actually deals with the data model and with the database. And so it has actually knowledge about all the customers in our database, and get customers would get those. If it starts with product minus, I can ask for product minus jeans, for example. And this was actually, or product dash jeans, I have no idea. That would actually deliver a single product. And so now I would like to have the list of all products. And I have added this 3 lines to the code that we have already have had for the backend, for the app service in the backend, to allow to ask for the full list of products. And in the model builder service, I have a new operation, get product. That's not a big deal. You can actually look for get customers, copy that, and just do a little change of this whole thing. And what you do is you go for the product model. In our model builder, I have a model for each collection that exists in my Mongo database. And so I have in the Mongo database in the collections for customers, and via customer model, I can access this one. And those are injected in the constructor and provided by some schema. And you know that still because we did that some weeks ago, or before Christmas after all. Product model is the list of all my products, and I do a find on this one, which is a database operation, and I say, oh, as filter, I have no restrictions. Please deliver everything that you have in that. I do an execution, and you know that this is a database operation, so it will need time, and this is asynchronous I/O, and therefore we need an await in front of it in order to actually wait for the result before we do a return. And because we use an await here, our get product becomes asynchronous too. And if we go back, we have an await here because we really want to wait for this. And we have an asynchronous for the get query, which we already have had before Christmas. So that's an easy one. So we have this actually asks for the list of all the products. If I go back to the offered task components, so this one here asks our backend, please would you provide me with a list of all the products that are stored in our database? And for some reason, this is Angular. It likes to deal with this using a subscribe operation instead of await, await. This is because well, this mechanism is older than the async create for some reasons. So well, this is how you do it if you deal with Angular. So subscribe actually waits until this request returns some data, and on success, it executes the first function that is passed as a parameter, or the first lambda that is passed as a parameter. On error, it's executing the second thing. And so when we actually get an answer, we call handle query response. When we don't get an answer because, well, the database is, the backend is down, then we put some message into the star string, and that is what you have seen at the beginning of this lecture. Okay. So it suffices to provide only one parameter here, but it's not a good idea. You should always deal with the error too, because it will eventually happen that there is an error, and if you just ignore it, you won't detect it and don't find the root cause, and you will debug forever to deal with these kinds of problems. So all the time, if you use subscribe, pass two lambdas, one for the good case and one for the bad case. Handle query response is just an operation here. You could have put the body of this directly here. Don't do it. If it's more than one line, put it in its own operation, in its own method. This becomes so crowded so easily, and you call this lambda hell or callback hell after all. And you can actually have another callback nested in here, another subscribe, and these kinds of stuff. And then you don't see what's going on any longer. If you actually put that as nested lambdas up here, you never do that. If it becomes a little bit complex, put it in its own operation. So the error is just one line, fine. However, this one is more complicated. Put it in its own operation. The answer that I get is this parameter. This is what my backend was returning, and I still know this was a list of products. However, at least at the front end, I did not yet introduce the product type explicitly. And so I do it with any, which is a bad style. You should actually have a product here. And it should be a copy of the product that is used in the backend in order to ensure type safety. So this is a bad thing. We should actually improve this. This is a good assignment. Max, would you like to have it in your assignment? So you always put the assignment at the Discord, so it's your job. Okay, cool. And so I actually have a list of offers. And this is the thing that I have cleared up here and that I have initialized for debugging purposes with dummy data in ng on init in order to actually test my component and the component. There's a component. This is this one. I put that one here perhaps. There is an ng4. So this is actually the thing that generates this page here. The home button and the Microshop is a general thing that is created by the app component, and everything below that, offers overview, edit, and all these tasks are shown below. Hey, here it is. No, go for this one. No, that's not. Yeah, this one here is actually from here, down here, down here. This is the offer task component, and it has first this text. Offer task component here, it's offers overview. Then there comes the add button, which is actually an edit button meanwhile, and which has a router link that go through to offer task edit offer. So it'll actually go switch to another component, which we will go to soon, sorry. And then there is this ng4, which does a let my offer of offers. It goes through the offers array that is provided by the task component, this one here, and iterate through it. And for each offer contained in the list of offers, it creates a copy of this whole paragraph or this whole subtree or this whole div. And this has three contents we offer, and then I can access the loop variable, my offer amount, my offer product, this is the name of the product, and my offer price, the price of the product. And this one here is generated for each element of the list of offers. And here we are. And then there's this store task string that we only use for debugging purposes, just to show some detailed information. This is going to be omitted in the final version. So we have that one. So, and we are still in the handle query response. So when we did this database query, we get the answer, which will take some time. We do reset the offers, get rid of the dummy offers, and do a loop about all the products that are contained in the answer, which is the list, and do a console.log, and that one should have been visible here. No, that's bad. I have no, it's shown in this one. F12 gives you, here it is. Here is all the output generated by the console.log of our Angular. This is shown in the browser, and here you see, oh yeah, 10 jeans booked at 12 o'clock, and the price is 0, and 11 t-shirts and 12 socks. Cool. So where do these come from? We'll have a look at it. First of all, so the important, we can get rid of this one here. That's no longer necessary. And this .store task string now gets number of offers, this .offers.length, to show us how many products we actually got from our database. So how did actually those things add up in the database? There should be ng. No, it's in the. Let's go for the get products thing here. I have actually added it here. So this is the builder service. This is the component of our architecture that manages our database. And it has all these things in here, and it has an on module in it. So when the system application starts, it does a reset, so why so complicated? Does a clear, and the clear does, actually products model is delete many, means get rid of all elements in the products model. Build event model, get rid of all elements in the event model. And then it does a store product thing, which actually add jeans to my database and t-shirts and socks. Just to have some data in our database to test the connection between front-end and back-end. And usually, actually, these products would come from the warehouse and would be sent to me. However, then I need to test the shop, back-end and front-end, and their collaboration. I would actually need to start the warehouse and run the tests on the warehouse in order to get this. This is a more complex test. We will do that too. However, for this local thing, I just added this data. This needs to go away later on. And perhaps it would have been more smart to actually use the Setprice test that tests the backend to call this reset. I'm not sure about that. And just keep in mind that we have several places in our whole code where we currently actually have helper operations or debugging facilities or dummy data created, and we need to get rid of all these places when we put our application to production, which is what we will do, probably in 2 weeks from now. And therefore, we have to be aware of all these things. Okay. I'm losing time. So where have we been? So we now know where this is coming from. And we wanted to actually explain the offer task component. It actually gets us the database, gets this list of jeans, t-shirt, socks, and puts them into this offers array. And then the task component shows these. And here we are. So this is where this actually comes from. Number of stocks. And if you run that again, there's some more things happening. There's this green thing showing up, which I really hate. And yet another green thing, which should be actually, yeah, it's green, it's fine. And then we are here, and now actually jeans costs $42.99. It should be $41.99 after all. Let's change it. So let's see how this has happened. If you go back to our test, where's the test? Show me the task. Test? No test? Microtest, Setprice, integration, shop, front end, go here. I would like to have this one at the very first one. Here we are. So we go for localhost 4400 and test whether this is actually running. We get the offer task button and click it, and the page should now show offers overview. We go for the add button. This is the ID that is provided in here. In the offers overview component, which is the button that is called edit by now. Can I change this by now? I don't dare it. And we could do this, but there are multiple places that should need to be changed, and I don't dare it. And then we should actually see an edit offer thing. Let's check this. So it's actually click on offer tasks, and then should have the offers overview. Great. Click on the edit button, and then we should have this view here, which an edit offer. And this is the form where we actually fill in the product name and the price. And did we? Yeah, yes. Last week we already did do some validation. It shows invalid here because the product name here is not something that is allowed. You should have a list of currently available product names that is allowed here, and we validate them automatically for it. Last week we were just having a list of valid names. Let's have a look at these ones. So we now go for the offer task component. Now it's the edit offer component, and it should be this one. I love it. Then we have had valid names. This is from last week still, where we have jeans and t-shirts. And the basic thing is that in the edit offer component HTML, we have this title, edit offer, and then we say, oh no, it's a form, and it has a form group. This was this reactive forms or something like that, provided by Angular, that allow us or provide us with facilities to check the user input for consistency, for plausibility. And well, in the warehouse front end, we didn't do that, but for the shop end front end, we now want to do it. Just to teach it to you, in a professional web application, this is what you actually need to do. And you need to do it in a sophisticated way, and you need to do it very, very detailed and aggressive and very cool. So the problem is that you have a million customers that are entering data to your form, and those will do all kinds of stupid mistakes that you can never think of. They will send you an empty form, they will send you smileys, they will send you whatever you can't think of. They will put Arabic letters in there, Chinese letters in there. There's no restriction to what dumb users can actually do in your form. And you need to check it as thoroughly as we can actually do it. Because if the user actually manages to send you an incorrupt data or a not correctly filled form or a meaningless form data, this will actually crash your application. And it will not just crash your application, it will crash your or corrupt your database. You will have Chinese characters in the product name of your database. And then when you actually would like to show it again, it will crash again. And then you actually need to go manually to your database, get rid of the wrong characters and clean up all the items just to restart your applications. And meanwhile, a million customers would like to buy products and you are down for an hour. That's not a good idea. So be as picky on user input as you actually can be, and you actually need to do extended work on validating form input, and this is really a thing that you need to do, and it's pretty hard. It's actually, well, I would say it's 3 or 4 parts of your web application is actually validate user input. It's 75% of all your code, or 80%, or even more. It's not the functionality is easy. Validating input is the really hard stuff. So therefore, we use this form group thing that actually allows us to do that, and we will see it now. Let's go for the edit offer component. So no. Here's this form group thing, which is actually tells this is a form that contains the following input elements: a product name element and a product price element, and it's always a form control that controls a single element, and that one may have some connection to a logical data that we are not using yet, and it has a list of validators. There are default validators that you may easily use. So there's a validator required, which is actually telling you that this one is a mandatory field. That's not so interesting. And we were providing our own validator, which is a product name validator. This is shown here. And for some reason, this operation that you add here returns a lambda that does the actual validation, and this lambda gets the control that, so the form control that you are going to validate, and returns a list of validation errors or null. So what we actually do, we ask the control for its value, and then we check that the valid names contain these values. That's it. Valid names is an array of strings, and it must contain exactly this string. Then it's okay. This was work that we have done last week. And so this week, we actually do some more with these valid names. So last week, we were just putting jeans and t-shirt here, some dummy data that we should get rid of in the productive application. And so now on ng on init, what we do is we do again an HTTP GET operation on localhost for queries and products. So we again ask the database for, please send me the list of products. And then on subscribe, we answer, hey, handle query response, which is now another handle query response, but because we are in the edit offers component. And this query response actually says, okay, valid names, get rid of the dummy data, and do a list of products in answer, and valid names push product.product. This product is the element. Oh, that's bad. Let's have elem here. So this is an element of the answer, and the element has a product name in the product field of that JSON object that is contained in this list. And we are accepting this, and here we are. So valid names now really contains the names that are in our database. So if I go for the very end of this, yeah, here, efforts task, and I go here, I can now actually put socks in here. And then he said, oh yeah, socks, that's valid. So if I now submit this, because my button is enabled now, and we will have a look at this. This was done last week. Come on, we need to speed up a little bit. If I submit this, I'll get this green monster thing here, which is a toaster, which is much more ugly than the one that Max was providing to me. But it's much easier to program. And actually, I will do it as an assignment to you to make this less ugly and to actually do some layouting on it. So that didn't work. How do I actually click on that button? No, that's not that. That's bad. No, you don't get rid of it if you don't click on it. Oh, that's bad. Okay, so that didn't work because I actually need to put some meaningful price in here. Let's say socks are $11.99. Hey, why not? And submit. Now that one works, and I get again this ugly thing here, which is a toast after all. And now it actually says socks have 11.99. So two things that I wanted to show to you. First of all, that in the edit button, we are allowed to to edit socks here. This is part of the validation. And this has been achieved by asking our database for the actual list of products and to do a loop of those and put their names into the valid names list in order to actually say, okay, only names that are known in our database are allowed as product names here. And I put in the debug output the number of valid names just to check whether it's free, and this was help during establishing all these functionality. Okay, and it is again the same query that we did in the offer tasks thing. We just asked for the full list of products. We could have a more specialized query that would only deliver the names of the product. Yeah, so why? Yeah, we could have done that, but well, actually my application, my front end needs to know about the fields of a product because the tasks component shows all these elements, and therefore I can actually, there's no problem to have it like this. Okay. Here we are. So next thing. Now comes the important stuff for today. So we were validating our first component. This was done in, we show form group status, form group errors. No, the validating is actually done as we have shown in this component by adding validators to the form group. By adding these validators, the user's input to this control elements are well checked for plausibility. So as you notice, we didn't do a check for product price. You actually should do it in your homework. I did leave these open in order to have a chance to enter invalidator here to show you, and this is what's coming now, data validation or parameter validation or form validation at the backend side. And the bad news is that as many validation of form input you do in the front end, it's not enough. You need to do all these checks again in the back end just because, well, the user might try to cheat on you. Every user can at any time within your browser open a debugger with F12 and then put some code here that sends a request, the form request, to your thing and, well, work around the form validation. He can actually send you data, get to, so what is behind the submit button, and call the submit operation by, although this one here is not valid, the input is not valid. The one simple thing is just to change the property of the submit button that it is disabled. Just make it enable it. So you can easily, well, do nasty things within the browser. And every user can actually do that. So, and there are hackers out there that are actually trying to corrupt your API, your backend. So there will be people out there that will try to get goods from your store without paying. And so you need to protect yourself against these kinds of attacks. And this is yet again an enormous task and a major functionality of your application that once you have checked all the user input on the front end, you do it again at the backend side. There's no way because, well, users may cheat on you. Actually, you do not even need to have a browser and open the debugger within the browser. There are programs out there like curl or wget or whatever that can actually on a command line be, or Postman can be used to send a request to your database, and you don't have any control about that one. So you cannot rely on form validation in the input. You need to do it again in the backend. So let's do that. Because this is such an important task, the gods of Nest were actually providing you with such a functionality. And so we go for, so where is this actually sent? Submit offer is the operation that is going to be called when we click the submit button in the edit offers thing. And it does some debug output, and your input is, it asks for the content of the form by going for form group, get product name, which is just a string here, and then I get the control element for product names, and I ask that one for the value that is within the input field, and store this in product params, in another JSON object in the product. So this is the product, this is the price. I do this form group get product price, asks for the value, and I need to put a number around this because the input field is a text field, and I want this one to be actually a number. So for some reasons, I have no idea why. I could do better validation on the backend side. That's basically it. Then I do a post to a new service that we need to implement this week, which is the Setprice service. So we actually want to do a single thing. And well, if you still actually recall, in the warehouse, we just have had one command root or URL, and all the commands were sent to this command directory. This time, at the shop backend, we will have more than one command. Setprice and store order and these kinds of stuff. And the reason for this is that when we have more than one command, we can do a better utilization of the parameter validation mechanisms provided by Nest. And therefore, so Nest is the system that we run our backend on. And therefore, we actually do that. And we go for the app controller and have a look at app controller. Here it says, I have a root command/price, Setprice, and we will have more of these later on. And I have these params, and these params are required to be of Setprice DTO. So this time it's not just any, but the params shall be Setprice data transfer object. And let's go for the Setprice data transfer object. This is a new class that you need to implement. And it actually has, is very simple. It has a product string and a price. That's it. And then it has a bunch of annotations, or well, these @symboled operations here, which tell, the params that are passed to operation that uses Setprice DTO as parameter types, there the products must contain a product thing. It shall not be empty, and it shall be a string. And we would actually say, it should be jeans, t-shirt, or socks. Yeah, but this is dynamic database content. And these are static annotations that are resolved at compile time. So you cannot say, oh yeah, I have a fixed list of elements which are allowed here. And so an enumeration type would not help, and a list of strings is not sufficient, because we do not know when we write this here what will be the list of products in our product database. And so this is all we can do here. However, for the price, we say, oh, it's mandatory. It shall not be empty. It shall be a number. And it shall be positive, which probably includes it's a number, but I'm not sure about it. And have more of those is fun. And so we can have a huge number of predefined things, and we get those from, and those are again called validators, and we get that from the class validator. And the class validator, we need to import that in package.json, do we? And let's see, it says class validator, class transformers. And you do that by running an npm install, and then what?
Yeah,
Class transformers and class validators. Shall we do that?
You have done that, and you write it in the Discord, the installation summary, so everyone can look at there.
Is it okay to show the Discord here?
Maybe not, but everyone knows.
Yeah, but actually I need to change the Discord, because for the toast I'm telling nonsense. No, I didn't do it on the Discord. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, if you go for the Discord, there it says npm class validator class transformer. That's true. And this one here, that one needs to go away. How do I kill that?
There is a delete messages.
Okay, and I will be back here soon, and we go for the, okay, so you need to do an npm install in the correct directory, which is the Microshop backend, and with parameter class transformer and with parameter class validator. This actually adds these validation functionality to your application. And then you go for main TS probably. And so what we didn't do in main TS before Christmas, you need to enable CORS to allow your, this is the cross origin resource. And there's it.
Resource security.
Security, okay. Cross-origin resource security. This allows the front end to talk to your backend. And this one here, use global pipes. This is the thing that actually switches on validation of parameter input. And then you pass a new validation pipe as parameter. I don't know why. And after all, so the app controller is in charge of, well, dealing with the URL coming in from somewhere, and then cut it into pieces and validate these things. And Nest is actually providing a lot of functionality for you to enable this. So this says if it is a post thing, and after localhost 3100, it has /command setprice. This one is a pattern that matches here. So that is the first step that Nest does for you in order to, well cut this, or to read this URL and get the information out of it. And then you actually can tell Nest to, oh, and please have a look at the information passed as body of this post operation here, and check whether it is actually conforms to Setprice DTO. And this is what this pipeline does. And actually, you can have a lot of things in this, well, pipeline where the URL goes through a list of steps. And at each step, something is validated or checked or done with the URL. The first step of the pipeline actually finds the matching operation. The next step does more things. For example, security may be added to the pipeline. Where is this user allowed to actually call this operation that can be checked within such a pipeline? And then here we do parameter validation based on a class definition. So we check whether these params are conform to this type definition provided in Setprice DTO and with these additional things here. So if we go for the test, do me the test. Come on. Test. Here we are. What we do is that once we are in the edit offer dialog, we set the price of the jeans to $42.99. So what we do is product name input, we put a jeans in there. Then we look for the price element of our HTML form and type 40. Ooh, just something which is not a number. We could also do a 42. And then we click on the submit offer button. And this should actually trigger our database, our backend, to say, no, this is not a number. I'm not going to accept it. Okay? Because it's not digits. And so it should, well, do something. So what should it actually do? This is offer, no, the edit offer components. It takes product and price. And actually this number thing should already be unhappy. I have no idea what it actually will return and put into this pricing. It's actually not going to stop here. It will actually do the Setprice URL call or the post operation with these params. And now the validation at the backend side should actually trigger an error. So it should respond with an error. And then what we do is we call the toast service. And let's have an error here that's just more, more lovely. So the toast service. The problem here is that when we are in this edit offer thing, and let's get rid of this one here, and we put this submit button, and there is something wrong. So let's do socks, let's put submit. Oh, it's red now, so cool. Then we actually say, no, there is something wrong, and we stay in the current form. We could actually make some of these fields here red and say, oh, please put some number in here or something like that. Or this is not a valid thing here. However, if we submit something which is okay, oh, let's have more cheaper. Oh, let's have 6. Then we also should inform our user that it has worked. So we should show it to him. But if we put this message, hey, your input was okay in the edit offers in this screen here, then we come on, show the code. So on success, we tell the router to navigate again to our task list. So we switch page. We leave the edit offer page, the form, and go to the overview again. And so if you put some information for the user in the edit page, the user won't see it because we switch to the other page. And so we need some other mechanism to show the user some message. Yeah, your last input was okay. And yeah, we could actually put this message somewhere globally, and then the offer task component could ask for this message. No, you don't do that. Because that gets a coupling of the two components. that is too tight. And so these web guys were thinking about, oh, let's have those components as independent as it possibly could be. And therefore, they say, oh, you should use toast, which is actually a pop-up that hovers over your page and is independent of your page. And so let's have toast. And actually, last week I was asking Max to show me how a toast is working, and I was establishing, and it was great. They looked much better than the one I have now, and everything was nice and happiness. And then Adrian actually told me, yeah, that's okay, but it's hard to teach, and I have did some wrapping of all these stuff, and now it's much more simple. And I say, yeah, that's true. So let's have a look at the simple solution provided by this one. Yeah. This is the simple solution provided by Adrian to you. And actually, Adrian is a wizard who has actually access to this thing where all these NPM components live. And he actually has put up a new component to NPM repository. And this one is called ng-bootstrap-extend. And this is a small wrapper around Bootstrap functionality. And you actually need to install this. And the command is in the page. So you actually need to go to GitHub and ask for ng-bootstrap-x. No, you don't do that, do you? Yeah, you can do that. And it will be there. And then we have this command npm install ng bootstrap extension, and you do that in the Microshop front end, and then you can actually use it. And then it says, oh yeah, you need to put some ngbx toast list and Angular bootstrap extension toast list somewhere in your code. Well, actually in some component template. And actually I did that. I did that in the app component. Here it is. You put it somewhere. I did it in above the router outlet. You can do it somewhere else. It's not a problem. So the next thing that you obviously need to do is import the toast module in your app module. App module. This is where we actually import all the functionality that we would like to use in our whole application. And somewhere here it says toast module. And the toast module comes from ng bootstrap extension, and that one is available once you have done this npm install. Okay? And once you have imported the toast module, you can actually say, and I think that's not contained in the web page, and actually Adrian should fix this. You should actually put this in the list of providers, but I'm not sure. I think you need that because in your edit offer, it's in step 1. No, where? It's not there. I was actually looking at this. It's missing. So you need to do that. You need in your app module put that in the list of providers, because in your edit offer component, you want to use this toast service as another parameter for your constructor, and it shall be injected. And in order to be able to inject the toast service to your component, you need it in the providers list. I'm pretty much sure. A router and HTTP client are, well, brought to you somewhere else. Actually, do you need that? I have no idea. If you put it there, it works. go away. So, and as soon as you did that, you can actually use this one. And this is toast service. Here we are. Now you can say this.toast service, and it has an operation success and an operation error. And if you call success, you give this thing a title and some text that you would like to show to your user. And then okay, if I do socks, they become cheap all the day. Then it actually shows edit offer price has been stored successfully. This thing is a pop-up and it automatically vanishes, I think about 3 or 4 seconds after you actually have shown it. Well, the delay is by default 5,000. Oh my fucking god. That's a large delay. Yeah, that's the problem that I have. So 5,000 is a little bit long. You should actually think about doing more. So I do a toast service and I didn't do that. Okay, I can have multiple of these. I have no idea. Because actually showing is done here. Yeah, please have a look at this. Actually, you can actually set, using this add command, you can actually say what should be the color of these things, what should be the delay, and some more stuff. And actually, I would like to have this, so for now I use blue colors. And this thing here is, let's have jeans. No, t-shirts do not yet have a price. What is a good price for a t-shirt? 9.99. Yeah, it should be blue. It shouldn't be green. That is hurting my eyes. Please, at your homework, find a way to make this blue. And that would be great. And yeah, it should be shown. Well, that would be nice. If you don't manage to, it's not a bad thing. You can actually talk to Arian, or if you'll have some information in the Discord that tells you how to do this. Okay. Fine. So again, if I put something wrong here and submit, I get this red thing here and stay on my page. And if I put something reasonable in here, I switch to the Microshop page and get the green thing. And I would love to have the green thing in blue, but I don't know how to achieve this. And this has been programmed by, this is the post of Setprice, where I asked my database to store the new price. And that database actually validates the price field and says, oh, it should be a number. And if I do not send a positive number, it comes back with an error. And so when the error comes, I ask the toast service to show the error. And I did it edit offer as the title of the page, and then I say I have problem, and I do just a JSON stringify of the error message, which is a bit lengthy and that's not appropriate. Yeah, but come on. So if it works, if it comes back with a success, I put a toast message that it has succeeded. This is the green message, price has been stored successfully, and the router navigates to the offer task. So yeah, that's cool. And that's actually the functionality that we needed. So we now have, well, let's have a look at the test. Here we are. So I click on the submit offer button and then I check that I'm still on the edit offer page. Actually, I should check whether this toast is shown, and please do that in your homework. I'm running out of time and do not want to do it now. Then I wait for 4 seconds until this pop-up is vanishing, because when I did this with Max, the pop-up was shown in the upper right corner. This was great, and I could still work on the page. The pop-up that Ariane provides is showing somehow to the right, but more to the center, not to the top, and therefore it if I go here and again SOC 42 submit the button, no, that's not the one that I'm asking for. If I go here, SOCs, and click on submit, the red button covers the submit button and the input field. So if I now would like to provide meaningful data for the input field, I cannot do it because it's covered. I cannot actually click on it. That's the problem. And so my test here, yeah. Yeah, in the normal synthesizer it works. It's just a problem that this so small. Yeah, let's have a look. You're right. So let's go for localhost, no, not 344, something like that one. So it's now a bigger size. And if you go for offer tasks and we go for edit and we put genes here and submit, it's shown to the right, then it's okay. But in my tests, the window is so much smaller that it covers the field and I cannot click on it. I have to wait until it is vanishing. And actually, I would love to be able to actually tell Setprice, make this window to disappear. But therefore, I need actually to click on this one here, and I do not know what the idea of this one is. And oh, well, I could. Huh? Waiting sounds easy, yeah. And so, but that's really annoying that you need to wait a very long time. Actually, waiting for 2 seconds is not sufficient. You need to wait for 4 seconds, and that's annoying. Okay. And then I actually say get the price field, clear the old input, the 40 that I have been typing in here before, this 40, and type 42.99, submit the offer button and click. Find the offer, submit offer button and click on that. And then I should actually have been switched to the offers overview. That one is actually working. And finally, I added a test where I validate the genes price in the database. So I do a SCI request, a GET request on the product minus genes. This is old functionality that I have had done before Christmas. And I hopefully get a response and work on that response with a then, which is again another form of writing this await, and pass a lambda, which is then executed, which is asking the response for the body, which should be the product that is delivered by our database query, and I do a console.log. A toast would be fine too. Shop front end, we could do a post. Should we do a toast? Oh no, this is a Setprice test. Can't do a toast here, not that easily. And expect that the product price is $42.99, and then we are fine. And you might recognize that this one is a string again, because in my database I use a string field. This might be not a bad idea. We should actually change it. When we validate the price, we should actually tell it's a number in our database too. Because if it's actually a number, we can actually do some computations on that, do the sum of all prices and these kinds of stuff, which is easier if it's actually a number. Okay, here we are. That's the program for this week. Connect your front end to your backend, use pipeline validation in your backend, use toasts to show the result of the backend validation. That's basically the stuff that we want to achieve this week. And these are just functionalities that you need in a professional application. We will not go deeper into that within this lecture. Because we would like to show you, well, all the bits and pieces that you need to build a professional application. But this, of course, needs more training. But, well, we hope that these lectures prepare you somewhat for training on the job when you actually then do it for a professional application, that you need, oh yeah, there was something important here, and that you know how to attack it. So, as every week, Maximilian is going to put the details of this week's assignment to the Discord, and then we'll see each other on Thursday for in Discord to have a look at your solutions. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye.